Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. We're going to talk about Donald Trump today and a stop he made in Atlanta at a Chick-fil-A. So they initially tried to make this stop look spontaneous, like he just happened to see this Chick-fil-A on the road and was just going to, pop in. But it was all planned and all staged. In fact, it was a Black conservative activist that organized the entire thing. And the restaurant had Black Republicans in there already waiting for Donald Trump. So I guess, y'all, they're trying to make up for those Donald Trump with AI Black people. Remember those photos that came out, and come to find out they were all done in AI, trying to make Donald Trump look like he was around all these Black people, at their home, just making a stop along the way, sitting with a bunch of Black guys and all that stuff. And the person that made those AI photos have lost his job behind it. So I guess this time around they tried to use, real people, but come to find out it was all still staged. So what can you say? How you doing, Kid Gravity? All right. Sandy Miller, thank you for becoming a new member. Michelle, thank you. Also becoming a new member, and a member for 1 month, Kid Gravity Beyond. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's get into this, y'all. I guess they're desperate to make Donald Trump look like he just want to be around these Black folks, and I guess they're just trying to make it look as normal as possible. And Donald Trump standing there with two Black women with a real phony looking smile on his face that doesn't even look like a natural smile at all. Okay. So the scene of Donald Trump being warmly greeted, this past Wednesday by a Black audience at a Chick-fil-A restaurant in Atlanta electrified conservative political media at a moment when Republicans hope to make inroads with Democrats' most committed voting bloc. Those widely shared moments were days in the making. And, so this was actually planned between Donald Trump and a local Black activist and some students. So the people you see in there are mostly from historically Black colleges, y'all. So they brought in a bunch of Black college students to pose with Donald Trump. Trump and his allies have argued he can win greater Black support due to his messages on the economy and immigration, a notion President Joe Biden's campaign rejects. Some of his outreach to African Americans have played on racial stereotypes, promoting $399 branded sneakers or suggesting that Black people would empathize with his dozens of felony charges, and has offended longtime critics and some potential allies. But the campaign considered Wednesday's photo opportunity at a Chick-fil-A, a stop that he made on his way to a fundraiser in Atlanta, a win that produced viral videos shared by his allies. So, the MAGA fools got a hold of these photos and lost their minds, and widely discussed by supporters and opponents alike. People find it hard to believe that there are young people who have loved the opportunity to meet Donald Trump. And Michaela Montgomery, a conservative activist and founder of Conserve the Culture, which recruits and educate college students and young alumni at Atlanta historically Black colleges and universities. Montgomery, a former Georgia Republican Party staffer who regularly coordinates events for HBCU students open to conservative ideas, to meet with politicians and activists. Oh, so she's the go-to person whenever these white Republicans are trying to get around Black people. So they got a go-to person in Atlanta, y'all. Okay. So she was notified earlier in the week that Trump would visit Atlanta's Vine City neighborhood during his trip to host a high dollar fundraiser in the city. She notified a private group chat of students she used to coordinate events and job opportunities about the president's visit. She received immediate interest in appearing alongside with him from dozens of students. Now, these are all Black students, all right? Everybody got together at around 9:30 in the morning and walked over to the Chick-fil-A, and then we sat there and waited until the president showed up, Montgomery said, who can be seen embracing the former president in multiple viral videos. It's really disheartening to see that the media makes it seem like we just stumble into a Chick-fil-A and he bought us milkshakes. Yeah, he bought a bunch of milkshakes and I think some sandwiches for them. Oh, wow, right? So most of the students were from Morehouse and Spelman colleges, or some of the foremost historically Black colleges in the nation, and with long legacies of influence, Black alumni in politics, business, religion, and medicine. Martin Luther King Jr. and Georgia Democratic Raphael Warnock, who pastors King's former church, are both Morehouse alumni. Stacey Abrams, the influential Georgia Democrat, attended Spelman alongside neighboring Clark Atlanta University and Morris Brown College. The academic collective on Atlanta's west side has served as, an African American politics and culture since before the civil rights movement. Trump's overture to students at the iconic Black institutions both underscore his eagerness to show any potential inroads with Black voters, as well as the campaign strategy of partnering with local conservative groups to marshal a crowd in communities outside the GOP base. A common political tactic with a slight twist. The location, they said, was a good one. Plus, it was on the way to his fundraiser. So that was another reason why this Chick-fil-A was picked, and all these college students walked over there from HBCUs to greet the president. But they tried to make it look like it was one of those spontaneous visits, and it was far from that. So, of course, this activist thought it was a day of resounding success for him and for the people in Georgia who loved him and wanted to come out and show their support. So they added that Donald Trump is very relatable to anyone, really. So, people in Atlanta got a chance to see that and show their love back. And he anticipates Trump will make major inroads with Black voters in Atlanta and across the country due to events like his Wednesday visit. So that tells me they intend on organizing these trips to fast food restaurants and put all these Black people in the restaurants and do this all over the country. Yeah, so much for spontaneous, right? So, Jasmine Harris, a spokesperson for Biden's campaign, criticized the visit, thinking Black voters relate to Donald Trump because he spent 20 minutes handing out freebies at a fast food restaurant is yet another insult to our intelligence and a perfect example of how disingenuous Trump's outreach to Black voters continue to be, Harris said in a statement. In March, 55% of Black Americans said they approved of Biden's handling of his job as the president, while 45% disapproved. So, you know what it is. The Democrats right now fear that they're going to lose a lot within the community to Donald Trump. But, as staged as this is, Joe Biden did something similar about a week ago. He staged, you know, a location where Black voters were, and he walked in the door, but he wanted just to be around the older Black voters and not the younger ones, and he did that probably maybe a week ago. So at the end of the day, both Trump and Biden are staging these Black gatherings, and Joe Biden shows up with some chicken and all that stuff. Man, it's all staged. So the visit was not met with fanfare by some on campus or local community. Montgomery denounced the criticism some students who appeared to have in the viral videos alongside of Donald Trump have received both in, on and off campus. So there were, students that also criticized Donald Trump's visit. So they are claiming that the students made a mockery of their institutions and saying that they are disrespecting their ancestors. It is really, really bad, said Montgomery. And she's the one that organized the whole thing. So, but, it's funny how he's just grinning in all these pictures, and it's not spontaneous, y'all. I think Trump and Biden really would have a problem being around real homegrown people, like rubbing elbows with the real people out here working and living life. and not staging everything. But I think they're in fear of doing that because they know they're going to come across opposition, both him and Joe Biden. It seems like it's spontaneous when it's white people, but when it's us, it's staged. That's one thing I'm noticing from both sides. It's almost like when it comes down to us, they want to vet things first. They want to vet things first. I guess they're in fear of a black man or woman that might have an opposing opinion. You know, I think that scares them. So everything is staged. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, on the surface, it looks like, oh, look, we met Donald Trump. Oh, and they knew Donald Trump was showing up there all along. I won't go in a Chick-fil-A, y'all, because, and I know I told you this before, I won't go in a Chick-fil-A because back when Mike Brown was murdered by Darren Wilson, Chick-fil-A went hard for the police. Okay. They even wore pro police t shirts in Chick-fil-A restaurants. And they did not hide the fact that they were very pro police. And once that happened, when Darren Wilson killed Brown and Chick-fil-A did that, I have not been back to a Chick-fil-A since. I think that was 2014, somewhere around there. I will not go to a Chick-fil-A. Mm-mm. See, once these businesses out here show they are pro cop, I'm not going in those businesses anymore. I will not go to a Chick-fil-A. I don't care if I'm driving and I'm starving. I'm still not going to that Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A could be right there and I could turn right into the parking lot. I'm still not going. I'm still not going. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was done with them years ago. And they were even doing that in the Chick-fil-A's by me. Support the police, they had their support the police t-shirts on. I was like, you won't get no support from me anymore. And that was it. I have not been, and there's a Chick-fil-A not far from where I am, and I will not go over there. I won't go. Just like I won't go to a Denny's because of all the racism that have happened at Denny restaurants all across the country. I won't go in a Denny's. Mm-mm. Yeah. But y'all, I kind of, when I saw the pictures, there's more pictures. This is just the one I posted, but there's more pictures of Donald Trump with these mostly black students that were at the restaurant. And, so much for politicking out here. Everybody wants things staged these days. They don't want to be real with the people, they want everything planned out and staged. Hmm. Yeah, it is delusion. Yeah. Hmm. But y'all, Donald Trump right now, before he was looking strong in the polls, they said Donald Trump is losing ground right now. And some people believe it's because of all these trials and everything that's coming out in the media. But you know what? It is still kind of early in the game to determine who's gaining and who's losing. I just think, this will become really significant when I think you hit like around September. Around September, if Trump is still up in the polls and we hit September, October, then yeah, I think is a good chance he'll win. But right now, it is still way too early. We're only in April. The, you know, the election is not until November. So a lot can still happen between now and then, you know? Yeah, well, I know a lot of people are mad at Joe Biden right now because he advised Israel after they got attacked by Iran. He advised Israel not to retaliate. So, right, I mean, it just seems like all Joe Biden knows how to do is wake up out of bed and piss people off. Oh man. Mhm. Y'all are crazy. Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean anything you cook at home. Look, Chick-fil-A, their sandwiches, I bet you could go in your kitchen right now and make a chicken sandwich to put them to shame. I'm serious. You know how to throw down a good chicken sandwich up in your kitchen. Come on. I know I do. I know I can go down there and make a damn good chicken sandwich. And I know many of you can. You don't need no Chick-fil-A. You got Chick-fil-A right there at your house. And you get that chicken out and coat that chicken, season that baby up, and you'll have something way better than anything served at a Chick-fil-A. For real. Mhm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And just be on the lookout for my videos, and I'll have some more upcoming live streams. You know, there are a few topics that I do want to touch on in the coming days. Shalom, family. Oh, one more thing before I go. I'm glad I thought. My paid members and my patrons, I got an upcoming live stream I will be doing with you, and it's going to be really good. I got a couple of really good topics that I'm going to cover exclusively with you that I think you'll be able to incorporate in your life, and it will be a good benefit to your life. Shalom, family.